Hello and welcome back to the Dynamic Racing League. We are getting very close to the end of the season with only 3 rounds remaining. One of them is Mexico, then we will also have Brazil and Abu Dhabi. And the title fight between Alpomutke and Matt is also getting close to the end. Alpomutke is leading Matt by 19 points. So the pressure is on Matt because Matt really needs to have a good performance, to make a good performance and try to get a good result, to get closer to Alpomutke in the standings. So the pressure is completely on Matt. Alpomutke can already play it safe. Also very happy to say that Jayor is back in the league. We still don't know whether he is permanently back or he just wants to have a fun race, but very happy to have him back. He will probably be fast enough to give a fight. Liverpool in the lead. Then Hughes moves Scaife, and if you look at the map, when the map gets red, becomes red, it means that the lap was invalidated. So Matt had his lap invalidated. He is now starting another one. Alpomutke hasn't completed a lap either. So Alpomutke without a lap time. Only the top 3 drivers have set a lap time. Lucas LA into the wall. Matt just drove past him, and Lucas LA was lucky that the impact wasn't strong enough to force him to retire. He can carry on, he just needs to pit and replace the front wing. Jimmy James in the lead. Matt the Smurpus went up in second place. Then Liverpool, Hughes moves Scaife, Alpomutke also with no lap time. He is now completing his lap. He is on medium tires. Let's see if he is fast enough for pole on medium tires. Last corner. In a few seconds we'll get his lap time. No, Alpomutke doesn't take first place. Jimmy James stays in first place and Alpomutke goes up in second. Liverpool bettered Alpomutke's performance, Alpomutke's lap time. So Jimmy James, Liverpool and Alpomutke, the two Haas drivers close to each other, Alpomutke and Matt the Smurpus. Lucas LA replaced his front wing and now he is starting his qualifying lap. Matt still doesn't have a lap time, so the tension is going up because it's looking pretty difficult for Matt. There is less than 9 minutes left. It's enough time to do whatever you want to do. Now Matt is on medium tires. Matt now medium tires. He nearly lost control. He really is always on the limit. And he has a purple sector. So Matt is driving very well, but he goes off track. Matt goes off track. Matt needs to give up again. Only 1 minute left, and to be fair, Matt did say before the session started that he injured his hand while playing football, so this probably explains why Matt is struggling so much. Now he just completed a lap and it's only it's a very slow lap time. He probably decided to slow down during the lap or made a mistake. So I was saying that's probably what explains why Matt is struggling so much. He had a similar qualifying in Monaco where he didn't even manage to set one single lap time, and he started at the very back of the pack. Looks like he's pushing, but he really has no other option, because time will expire before Matt gets to the straight, so to the finish line, so Matt won't have another chance. Let's now pay attention to how this lap ends. Purple sector according to the map. Matt on the final corner. Let's see how fast this is. Reminder that he is on medium tires, and the Matt only goes up in fourth. Matt only goes up in fourth. So Alpomutke in the lead, and Alpomutke in the lead, and Matt in fourth. Matt in fourth, even though Matt will be starting on medium tires, so we will have to pay attention to the different strategies. And Alpomutke goes even faster. You can see fastest lap on the bottom of the screen. Orbe King retires from the session, and Orbe King didn't set a lap time. Orbe King didn't manage to set one single lap time, so Orbe King will be starting in 9th, but he isn't in the title fight anymore anyway. He was in the title fight realistically for pretty long, because Orbe King is always very consistent. He rarely makes mistakes. Liverpool gets a decent fourth place, which means that Matt will be starting in fifth. So Alpomutke, Jimmy James, Jayor, and Matt is the only driver on medium tires. Waiting for everyone to finish their loading. Sometimes I forget to edit this part of the video, to edit it out. It usually takes very long, and the game gives a time for before it expires. Only Bryzy, Liverpool, Matadus Murpus, Orbe King, and Jayor Scaife, only these drivers have completed their loading. Now, so the formation lap starts. Jimmy James goes up in first place. Very similar to what Michael Schumacher did at Silverstone in 1994, when he was driving on the limit on the formation lap. He overtook Damon Hill, and if I'm not mistaken, he did get a black flag during that race, and if I'm not mistaken, it was because he didn't respect the grid order during the formation lap. He overtook Damon Hill on the formation lap because he wanted to get ready for the start, driving on the limit on the formation lap, to get a feel for the car. And I'm completely sure that he received a black flag during that race, but I'm not completely sure that this was the reason. So now Alpomutke has overtaken Jimmy James again. So Alpomutke now about to place his car on the grid, waiting for everyone else. and yes, this is the camera angle that we will get. I don't know how Codemasters can implement such a bad camera angle, but that's the way it is. So the lights, I couldn't even see the lights, and Jimmy James gets a better start. Jimmy James gets a better start, but there is a long way to go to the first corner, so let's see if Alpomutke can fight back. Looks like Alpomutke was able to fight back, and Alpomutke nearly went off track, but in the end he managed to keep first place. Now Jimmy James is all over his back. We will see later if something happened at the back, but we now need to stay focused on to keep an eye on Alpomutke and Jimmy James, because they are fighting for the lead. Jimmy James was very close to Alpomutke at the beginning of the second straight, but Alpomutke was very good at defending, and now probably Jimmy James knew that Alpomutke was very fast, and now Alpomutke is already pulling away, is visibly pulling away. Jimmy James probably knew that, and he tried to overtake Alpomutke at the start because it was his best chance. It will be very difficult now for Jimmy James to stay close to Alpomutke, because we already know how fast Alpomutke is. So Jimmy James probably won't have another chance. That's why he took a risk at the start. And Matt down in 6th place, so Matt didn't gain any positions. Matt didn't gain positions at the start. He actually lost 5th place to I don't know who overtook him. Now the graphics starting to have that glitch. It's pretty annoying, and I hope that it will be fixed in the next game, because I always have trouble commentating the second lap. Now everything back to normal again. So Alpomutke in the lead, then Jimmy James, then Little Paul. Matt is actually in fourth place, with Jayor all over his back. Jayor is on soft tires, so Jayor will probably put Matt under a lot of pressure. Alpomutke sets fastest lap on the second lap. Matt ahead of Jayor. The DRS will be enabled soon, so this might be a fight, because Jayor looks quick, and he also has tire advantage. Now let's pay attention to what's going on behind. Ragge back to the pits, Spike also back to the pits, so these probably are the drivers who were involved in some kind of collision at the start. Spike now having his front wing replaced. Spike, if I'm not mistaken, those are hard tires. Don't know whether it was the light that made the tires appear look white. No, it wasn't the light. They are actually white tires, so Spike decided to go for hard tires. It wasn't the lighting. And Bryce, it looks like he has damaged his front wing. I have to say, I didn't say it in the previous race, Bryce was very good at USA, because he completed the race. He usually fails to complete the race. He managed to bring the car home at Texas, at Austin. Now he probably had a collision with someone, but he didn't retire, so he can carry on. And Brasi joins the track in 12th position, Ragge right ahead of him. Both are on medium tires. Only Spike in last place has harder tires, so he will probably be slower than Ragge and Brasi, but on a different strategy, so he might catch them later during the race. Now Ragge pulling away from Brasi. Looks like Ragge is quicker. Orb King all over the back of Scaife. I think Owen has DRS, so probably Scaife has DRS as well, so the effect. Did Brasi retire? Yes, Brasi retired. Brasi has retired. Now Spike is probably going to drive past him, and you saw him against the barrier, so Brasi is out. Safety car deployed, and let's see what Matt decides to do. Let's see what Matt decides to do, because Alpamut K started on soft tires, while Matt qualified on medium tires, started on medium tires, so this means that I'm not sure what. I think Alpamut K will decide to pit, because I'm completely sure that Alpamut K will decide to pit. It wouldn't be good for him to stay out. He hit the pole at the entry, so Alpamut K decides to pit. There is quite a few mechanics walking out of the garage, so a lot of drivers are probably going to pit. Jimmy James behind of Alpamut K also pitted. I couldn't see what tires he decided what tires he chose. So is Matt in the lead? I think Matt is in the lead because he started on medium tires, so probably the performance of his tires wasn't dropping already, so Matt is still on track and didn't decide to pit. Orb King already all over the back of Matt. Like I said before, the safety car, when the safety car came out, Matt didn't decide to pit because he started on the medium tires, but these tires are almost 10 laps old. So Orb King faster than Matt. Looks like Owen is faster than Matt. Orb King is putting Matt under pressure on the outside, but Matt was able to defend his lead. Matt, Orb King, Alpamut K now watching what Orb King and Matt are doing. Now Matt is pulling away, so Alpamut K is putting Orb King under pressure. Matt pulling away Orb King, then Alpamut K stuck behind of Orb King, and then also Jayor having a pretty solid race. Matt, Orb King, now Alpamut K. I don't think Alpamut K already has the DRS because the safety car was still out 1 lap ago. And Alpamut K completes the overtake. So now Matt can see Alpamut K in the mirrors, and he now knows that he needs to push, because Alpamut K is also on new tires, on fresh tires, so I think Alpamut K will be faster than Matt and will probably get very close, very soon, very quickly. Jayor also overtook. Yes, Jayor overtook Owen. I wasn't paying attention. I was watching Matt and Alpmut K, but Jayor also got past. Matt and Alpmut K. Matt still behind of Alpmut K, but Alpmut K is very close. Is only 4/10 away from off. Only 4/10 off Matt. Matt at the moment is trying to resist. Matt is trying to resist. Alpmut K knows that he is in a good position for the championship battle, so he probably doesn't want to take huge risks. They both are on medium tires. Now Matt is starting to struggle because his tires are pretty old. Alpmut K very close, Alpmut K very close, and now can use DRS, so I think Alpmut K will get past, and indeed Alpmut K had it very easy. Alpmut K had it very easy. Alpmut K in the lead, ahead of Matt, then Jayor. Alpmut K could use DRS, he couldn't use DRS after the safety car, so he spent some laps again behind of Matt. He probably was waiting for the DRS to be enabled so that he could overtake Matt in a safe way. Alpmut K, Matt, Jayor, again Jayor. Pretty solid race on his return. I hope that he will keep it clean. Happy for him if he gets a podium. But Matt is really having a difficult day today, so maybe Jayor could even finish second. It all depends on how the race goes. Now Matt under pressure because Jayor looks quicker. I think Matt is going on a different strategy. I'm not sure what he wants to do. Like I always say, I'm not playing F1 anymore, so I don't know how long the tires last, how they lose performance. I don't know these details, so I can't tell what Matt is trying to do, but he probably is on a very different strategy. There is some lag every now and then. He didn't make any mistake. That was just lag. Okay, Matt, Jayor, Spike in 9th place. And I was paying a little attention to the drivers at the back of the pack, and Jayor got past. But at this point I think that Matt is trying to do something different. He probably wants to use soft tires at the very end, because I can't find another explanation. So now Jayor in second place behind Alpmut K, but I think Matt got back to the pits. Alpmut K in the lead, then Jayor. I don't think Jayor has the same pace as Alpmut K, sorry. So I think Alpamut K will probably have it easy now. Matt is on medium tires again. Matt is on medium tires again. He leaves the garage and is ahead of Scaife. Spike has been very solid this season. He has the pace to get some points at Mexico. He missed the apex there. He has been very solid this season. Now Jimmy James overtook him very easily. I think Spike made a mistake there because he lost a lot of time suddenly. Spike again. Hughes moves pitted, so Spike went up in 8th place again. After that he lost 8th place to Brycey, to Jimmy James a lap ago. Now Matt all over the back of Liverpool, because Liverpool is on a different strategy. Liverpool is on hard tires. Matt now is on fresher tires, and Matt completes the overtake. Matt goes up in 4th place. Liverpool on very slower tires. Hughes moves retires. Hughes moves is out of the session, and will this cause a safety car? I don't know. Scaife now in 11th place. Hughes moves has retired. Matt drives back to the pits. So Matt is probably going to choose soft tires, and indeed, yes, the tires look red, so I think yes, Matt is on soft tires. This was the only logical strategy that he could choose. So now Matt, but there is only 10 laps left. There is only 10 laps left, so it will be very difficult for Matt to get close to Alpamut K. He can maybe catch Jayor, but I don't think he can catch Alpamut K. We will see, but Jayor is 8 seconds away from Alpamut K, and Matt is 8 seconds away from Jayor, so I think this means that Matt is about 16 seconds away from Alpamut K. He needs to make up 16 seconds in 10 laps. It looks like it doesn't sound like a realistic goal, but we'll see. Now Orb King pitted, or maybe they are having a fight. No, Jimmy James back to the pits, and Matt really is pushing. I don't think he will catch Alpamut K, but he's getting closer to Jayor. Matt out. No, Matt was lucky because, and he crashes again. Matt was very lucky because he lost control at a very high speed, but he was lucky he didn't end up into the wall with his suspensions. So Matt can carry on. He of course needs to pit because he is completely lacking the front wing, and also a 5-second time penalty. Virtual safety car. Very lucky Matt. He will now have Matt retires. Matt retires. Matt retires. He said it before the race that it would have been a pretty difficult. It was going to be a pretty difficult race for him with because of his injured hand. And now Matt retires, and this is probably where the championship ends. This is probably where the championship ends. Alpmutke still hasn't won it officially, but the title hopes are almost completely gone. Alpmutke already has a hand on the title. Two laps left. This race is probably the race that will decide the championship, the outcome of the championship. Matt was really struggling because of his hand. I don't think it's an excuse because he was really slower than usual, but only he knows. Now Alpmutke is driving in a safe way because he knows that Matt is out of the race, and he knows that the title is in his hands. It's raining pretty strong here. You probably heard the noise of the windows. Anyway, the last lap is about to start, and did Alpmutke just lap his teammate? This is Matt Desmerpus, but the car ahead is another Haas, so I think Alpmutke just lapped. Yes, Alpmutke just lapped Matt Desmerpus, his teammate. Now Matt Desmerpus and Spike fighting, but it's another point finish for Spike, so he probably is very happy. He is faster in this game than he was in the previous games, and I have said this a few times during the season. Spike really has improved, and he is finishing the races regularly. So Alpmutke in the lead, and also very decent drive from Jayor. I predicted his second place earlier in the race because Matt was having a tough day. Then Orbeking on the podium, but the celebration is here because Alpmutke is probably going to win the title. Alpmutke probably going to win the title because of this result, and he crashes on the straight on purpose. So Alpmutke probably wins the title here. I haven't done my calculation yet, but I think he has a huge lead over Matt, because he was already leading the championship by 19 points. I don't know how big the lead is now. I don't know whether he also got the fastest lap, but Alpmutke really is in a very easy position to win the title. It was a very difficult day for Matt. Like I said before, I haven't done my calculation yet, but Alpmutke can really be happy with this result, because this is probably going to decide the outcome of the championship. and thanks for watching. We'll see you in about 2 weeks, in 2 weeks time, for the Brazil Grand Prix. This is the final result. Thanks for watching again.